Okay, Reggie, you mentioned in a previous segment that when we talked about the plane in Mexico or whatever, that there was another incident that happened on an airplane. Can you share that story and what happened there?
Oh boy, there's been plenty of episodes with me and Suge on planes. I tell y'all, too. This one he gonna laugh. He loved telling people about the second one I'm gonna tell. The first one though was this. Me and Suge went to. We was coming from New York and we was flying to Miami, right? And we was on a little ass one, a little plane. I think it was a three seater or a four seater. You know, it wasn't the one where the two pilots in the front and the two behind, because we had a little room in the back, but it was real small. But it didn't have no restroom or anything like that on it, so that show you how small it was. But we was on our way to Miami and Fort Lauderdale, Florida. That's where we was going. And so we was flying and flying, and then all of a sudden, Suge noticed. Suge noticed. He was like, "Man, this smoke coming from one of the engines or from the plane." And he hollered and notified the pilots, and the pilot was like, "Damn, we gotta make an emergency landing." Now it wasn't Fort Lauderdale. I think it was somewhere where we was only like an hour, hour and a half out, where we had to make an emergency. But that's when I knew that nigga was crazy. So they dropped a little mask down for us to breathe and all of that, and they had us on there, on with the mask on and all of that. And he just laughing and still just talking. And I'm over there like, man, we about to die. What the fuck going on? What the? And he was listening, laughing and looking, had his leg cocked up on however he had his leg laying out. And like, well, Rich, if we out of here, we out of here. And yeah, man, that was the time when going to Miami, we almost was out here, but they landed the plane, and what we found out later was one of the engines went out, and so they were able to land it on just one engine. But the incident he gonna laugh at and y'all gonna clown me about, and he tell it, and I done heard him tell this story before. He told it to the office staff trying to clown me one time when I had left, and he called me on the phone one time, and I didn't know he had an office staff in his office, and had everybody on the speaker. No, no, that ain't what happened. He was in jail. He was in jail, and he had an office staff meeting, and me and Suge we were coming from Fort Lauderdale because what he had did was somehow he had his boat come in through that port, so he wouldn't have to pay the taxes on it. Something that they were doing about taxes on this like $4 or $5 million yacht that he had bought. And so this is when they were calling him in for his probation hearing. We were coming from the Bahamas, and we was coming from the Bahamas, and and when we were flying in from the Bahamas, we had to land somewhere to do immigration or in Florida. We had to land in Florida to, for our what's those people that the border people, the people that checks your passport and all of that stuff. Forget what they call them, but for those people, okay. And I didn't know this, and I'm already thinking I don't know what's going on. Then Pocket just died, got killed, and all that, and we was in Florida and coming back and forth, and they kept questioning us. They kept questioning us about our trip in the Bahamas to here. So I'm thinking we doing something illegal, doing something wrong, because they had us held up for about an hour, hour and a half. And so they finally let us go, and we go. But then my nerves, I ain't as tough and as strong as people, especially in the '90s. My nerves was bothering me. And halfway during the trip on the way back to our next landing, which was, and I think somewhere in Texas, from Florida to Texas, where we had to land on, because these airplanes can't just go from coast to coast. Well, back then they couldn't, so they had to make a land again for fueling. And there's no restroom in this particular airplane. And man, my stomach was so messed up I had to take a dump. You should have seen. And so you got this little stool in there to take the dump and all of that. And so I got on that toilet just in time, boy. But the pilot Suge had always left. All I saw was I looked over there and saw Suge. He over there with the mask on. The pilots put their mask on because, you know, they got those nice professional, you know, those planes like air jets or something like that. They got those nice ones. And they over there. And boy, I feel good after that. But they were mad. And the pilots had to clean it up. You know, they had to clean it up when we land and stuff. And Sugar's always clown me about that. But I tell you, me and that nigga on planes, boy, we done had some time. I remember one time we almost got banned. I think they ended up banning us for flying on airplanes, commercial. Because we used to catch a late flight from L.A. to New York all the time. And I didn't like really sitting in first class on those flights because back then the planes, the red eyes to New York used to be empty. And me and Buntry and there, we'd just get the 3 rows and we'd just lay across and go to sleep. And by the time we wake up, it'd be 6, 7 a.m. in the morning in New York time. And we'd be done slept the whole way. But Suge crazy ass, they were trying to take off. And he went in the restroom to take a dump. And they were so mad because you know how you got to make those times and stuff. And he wouldn't come out of that restroom. Yeah, because he was finishing up doing what he got to do. And I remember those flight attendants were pissed. And I think they almost was about to ground it. I really think that's why we started taking private planes after that. Because he got banned on commercial flights after that. But yeah, us and the flying and the flights and stuff was just as wild up in the air that they were on the ground with that nigga. But yeah, I miss the times I had with that boy in the mid-90s. Wish we could replay those days. Really do. Shout out Suge Knight. Period.